Welcome to Untethered. After thousands of miles, several states, and plenty of peaks and valleys along the way, we wanted to share our journey, either to help prepare you, caution you on what not to do, or just ride along on this unregrettable journey with us. Join us this week to learn what we really spent on campgrounds on our first year of RV living.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Untethered. Glad you guys joined us again for this episode. We're still working through our short video series of our experience in our first year of full-time RV living. We've learned a ton of stuff. We get asked a lot of questions. We had a few surprises, but something we get asked a lot is actually how much does it cost to actually go camping? Once you have the truck and the trailer or the motorhome or however you're doing it, how much does it cost to actually stay at a campground every night?
So this is just going to be what we spent in the last 12 months, our first year full-time camping. So it's going to be high to some, it's going to be low to some. If you really want to dig into the cost for you, I would start by determining what type of camping you want, full hookups, boondocking, what you're able to do, what you want to do, and kind of let that be a starting point for you. So let's dig into the numbers, Mr. Numbers Man.
I broke down our campground cost basically into 4 buckets. So bucket number 1 is going to be campgrounds. Another bucket we're going to cover today is boondocking. I put state and national parks in their own bucket. We didn't do much of this, but what little we did do, we noticed the prices are a lot cheaper. The 4th bucket, and this is something that probably won't apply to everyone, we do have an annual campground lease in Illinois that we've had for about 8 years. That's a one-time fee every year, but we did include that here because we spent a lot of time here. So without further ado, let's get to the big number. From April of 2022, when we officially went full-time, to April of 2023, we spent $12,329.22 in campground fees as a whole. This breaks down to an average of $1,027.43 per month, or $33.78 per night. When we started out, we set a goal of $35 per night on average, knowing that some places are going to be expensive, some places are going to be cheap, maybe even free. But that was our goal and we hit it. But let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into how that money breaks down. In the last year, we spent 202 nights in campgrounds, and that spend came out to $10,207.37. That averages out to $50.53 per night. Definitely our most expensive bucket overall, and the most expensive bucket per night. In that bucket, we spent as low as $30 per night to around $90 per night. Granted, that was at KOA in Myrtle Beach on spring break, so we knew that was going to be kind of pricey. We spent 54 nights at our annual lease spot, which is really low for us. Usually we would spend every weekend there all summer long, but obviously we were traveling a lot. So 54 nights at our annual lease spot, that came out to an average of $25.24 per night. That's our annual lease fee divided by how many nights we actually stayed there, and we did factor in our power bill because we do have a meter here and a monthly power bill to pay. State and national parks, we only did 3 nights. How did we do that? I think some of that's a learning curve for us because a lot of the state parks that we saw growing up were very small, our rig's a little bigger, and some of those places look really tight or have a lot of low trees or some winding roads. So
you mean that we're scared to do it?
I think because of our preconceived notion of state and national park campgrounds, we were a little bit scared to try to stick our rig in there. But on several occasions, we've rolled up to places and we've seen really nice campgrounds for a third of what we paid. So we will be trying to take better advantage of that in the next year for sure to save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Speaking of saving money, something people ask a lot, how much did we boondock? We actually boondocked more than I thought we did last year. I didn't think we had done it much. Boondocking, mooch docking all combined into one. We spent 106 nights boondocking and or mooch docking in the last year.
Wow.
Nearly a third of the year, which really helped our overall average cost because we stayed at some pricey campgrounds. So when we talk about boondocking, that's the Harvest Host that we talked about. That's staying overnight on a long trip at a truck stop or a rest area or Cracker Barrel or Planet Fitness or a Walmart. We do spend a lot of time mooch docking back in Arkansas with friends and family. When we do that, we usually kick them a little bit of money to help with the electricity cost when we plug in. That all factors into our overall cost of boondocking, which comes down to about $6 a night.
So let's talk about what we didn't do last year. And that's, we didn't seek out the cheapest places. We were just on a mission. We wanted to experience this, get comfortable with it, and cost wasn't just the biggest factor for us.
No.
So we know that there are cheaper options out there that we can target with a little more confidence this year. Also, we didn't really utilize those weekly and monthly discounts. We moved, what was the number that we moved on average?
On average, we moved every 5.79 days. So we moved every 6
lot.
days on average. And we had some 2 and 3 week stints in there, but we had a lot of 2 and 3 day stops.
What we did do last year, you already touched on this, we mooched and boondocked
More than
quite a
we
bit.
thought, yeah.
Also, we winged it a lot. So those last minute reservations, we took what we could get.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned we did stay at some resorts and some higher price, so that kind of brought our average up a bit. So we know we left a lot of money on the table last year. That's a target for us to shoot for this year, with a little more knowledge of the overall process.
And in all honesty, there were a lot of times where we were lazy campers. Generally, when I go to book a campground, I lean more towards the campgrounds that have websites where I can see the pictures, maybe I can pick my own spot. With that said, a lot of campgrounds that don't have websites have a little less overhead and their prices are a little better. So I think this year I do want to spend a little more time making some calls and trying to save a buck here and there. When we talk about being lazy campers, what's easier than a pull-through? What's easier than full hookups? So you really have to think about, what you want to do and what you want your experience to be. For us, especially in the first years we were checking states off the map, what was important to us was being able to get to somewhere that was close to everything we wanted to do, so we didn't have to drive a ton, which means you're going to be staying in more populated areas and you're going to spend a little bit more on campgrounds. And if in doubt, we hit KOA.
Yeah.
And speaking of KOA, I didn't even realize just how much money we spent at KOAs last year.
Really?
You want to take a guess on that?
No.
So KOA was our most commonly used campground, which isn't too surprising because they're everywhere. But
And when I walk in, they always go, "Thank you for being a VIP member." And it makes me feel really special.
well, I'm about to tell you how to become a VIP member. I don't really know how to become a VIP member, but apparently if you spend a lot of money at KOA like we do, you end up getting to be a VIP member. They do have some great perks with their membership rewards points. We've got several free nights in the past year. We do get some discounts. They have some free camping weekends and stuff like that we can take advantage of for VIP members. I'm not advocating that you go do that because it's definitely a more expensive way to go, but we do like KOA because they're very consistent. Things always work. Things are always clean. But, big number here, last year we spent over 60 nights at KOA, and we spent $3,413.86 at KOA alone, and that averaged out to $56.90 per night, averaged out across all the KOAs we stayed at in multiple states over the course of a year.
Wow.
I do think that I can quit being such a lazy planner, spend a little bit more time on the phone, and maybe we just try to cut that KOA stay down by 10 or 15 nights a year. It would really help our average. So
Yeah, you need to quit being so lazy.
yeah, with that said, it's almost the end of May. We've already stayed at several KOAs, and we've already spent a week at a resort and spent some money. So we got some work to do from here on in.
Tomorrow.
So another thing to think about as you're trying to plan out your trips and make your budget for the year, where are you going to stay? These campsites vary a lot by state. So I actually went in and looked at where we stayed and how we spent for the year. So Georgia was our most expensive state, and we spent an average of $65.64 in Georgia in the past year. That was kind of pricey. That said, those places were closer to Florida and near the beaches. That's definitely part of it. And Oklahoma campgrounds came in at the cheapest on average at about 40 bucks a night. Our style isn't for everyone. Some folks really like to boondock. They really like the challenge of how far to stretch those water tanks and make those solar panels work for them. We do a little bit of that too, but we kind of have some creature comforts that just work better for us.
Lazy, I think is the word you used.
Yeah, we have been lazy campers for sure.
Yep, I like it.
Overall, I don't feel too bad about our spend the first year. It definitely saved us money versus what we were paying on our mortgage, for sure.
Oh, sure.
And would probably save most people money. Could we dial it down? I think we could probably cut it down by a third if we wanted to, but part of this lifestyle is enjoying yourself and being in the places you want to be. So for us, it's not all about money, it's more about experience, but I definitely think we can shave some cost off next year.
And we do plan to be more structured and stay longer at some places and really utilize that that piece. So I think a lot of that's going to slow down for us as well. Let us know how you like to camp, what you're seeing out there for prices, what you normally do, and hopefully this helps you on your journey.
But keep in mind, there's no wrong way to camp, whether it's in a tent or a pop-up or a big massive motorhome. Challenge yourself if you want to, or take easy street like we did most of the time.
I don't like the comments online where it's this is cheating or that's cheating. It's camping. It's camping however you want to do camping.
Yeah.
You can do it really rough and challenge yourself. You could do it really highfalutin.
Or you can find somewhere in the middle, which is kind of what we've done. Thank you guys so much for watching, so much for the support and love, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
See you later.
And this can be from a cheap grape. This can be from a cheap grape. Graham crowned. This can be from a cheap grape.
Or let us know how you like to camp.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Oh, I was talking to you.
Oh.
Do you want me to close it out?
Well, start.
Remember, you can always go back to review these videos as we drop them in the playlist portion of the page as well.